This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it, cause time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it. This generation need integration with information to move with. An inclination that is abiding in entertaining improvement. Yep.
Hey, what's going on here, everybody? Welcome to the Respect My Blueprint podcast. And, you know, I'm very excited about today's guest because I recently met this guest here, guys. You know, to be honest, we attended a function in Easter, and it was raining down here in South Florida. It was actually a car show, and it was raining very hard, like cats and dogs. And we had a tent, me and my team, we had a tent set up, and he ended up actually coming to the tent to, you know, catch some shade from the rain. And, you know, I seen him under the tent. He was holding conversations with some friends of mine, and then I decided, I say, wow, let me reach out to him. I did a little bit of search on him right then and there, and knowing what he does, I immediately was inspired because many of the audience know a little bit of my backstory as far as inspiring me to do this podcast was, you know, the George Floyd incident where, you know, that young lady who filmed the incident when Chauvin put his neck on George Floyd, that right there showed the power of independent media, right? So today, guys, I want to share with you somebody who not only is, you know, following that same dream, that same passion as far as, you know, espousing independent media, but, you know, I fully believe that he's going to be not only an anchor to a major network one of these days, but he's going to be a household face throughout this country not too long here. And, of course, that's none other than the breaking news reporter. How you doing today, brother?
I am alive. That's all I'm going to say. I'm alive and well for now.
That's okay. And, well, that's good enough, right? I mean, especially, you know, in this weird world that we're living in COVID, right? A lot of people has lost their lives, in which we're going to talk about. And things have been very up and down with the political and economic landscape, you know, just to see that, hey, I'm alive. That is a beautiful thing right there, right? So let's start off. Well, first of all, I tried to roll out the red carpet for you here. All right. But, you know, I may have done a C on that. All right. Okay. So if we can help boost it up to A, let the audience know, who are you and why did they call you the breaking news reporter?
I wanted a name that's simple and smooth and something very easy to remember. The breaking news reporter. That's very catchy. No other person has it. The breaking news. You break news to people, and they appreciate that, especially in the world that's so fast where your attention span is only now less than 8 seconds. So it's catchy, and it's very simple. Has a little bit of an old school name to it. Just
Not a little bit. That's okay.
And also, I don't want to be known as by a name. It's not important. All you need to know is that I'm just a videographer, a cameraman, a news reporter, and that's it. Nothing special.
Okay, phenomenal. Well, how long have you been into journalism? You know, how long is this has been a childhood passion of yours? Have you always been infatuated with the camera, or this is just something that you've picked up as you got into adulthood?
The stories keep it a little sweet and simple.
Okay.
In 2009, a pawn shop in Lardo Lakes, State Road 7, Oakland Park Boulevard was robbed. The next day I go out. The news comes with their old news. Back in the day, I had big news vans.
The big, yeah.
Huge ones, the 250s, big antenna in the air. I actually saw the tripod with a huge camera. Back then, they had big tape cameras. Oh.
You can put that closer to you. There you go, brother.
So back in the day, they had huge cameras.
Right.
When I saw the news reporter, the camera outside the pawn shop, people spotting jewelry.
Which is normal, right? But
right.
Okay, it's a little fascinating though. Like, okay, let me see what's going on here.
The thieves made a hole in the roof and they stole the guns and all that. That's why they were out there.
I remember that. That was a big thing in the city here. Obviously, you know, you just exposed that you're born, you know, you're familiar with the area. But
right.
Go ahead.
Well, when I was probably 8 or 9 years old, I saw that, fell in love, and that's what inspired. A crime inspired my dreams and passion. You know, can you believe it? A little eerie, but hey.
Yeah. Wow. So a crime which completely unrelated to you, right?
That's what started.
You know, just the fact that the news team went out there and you seen the whole setup and everything of them capturing the crime scene. It's like, oh.
I saw the camera and I'm like, whoa, I want to do that. I want to hold it. I want to be in front of the camera, telling the story.
Wow. Okay, so ever since childhood, 8 years old then.
Yeah.
8, 9 years old. Wow. And you're from down here, born and raised, South Florida?
Absolutely. Lived in Lauderhill my whole life, and then Lauderdale Lakes and
Okay.
North Lauderdale.
Okay. And I see, now you got to explain to me the hair.
Sure.
Yeah, because listen, you're a lot younger than I am. I'm 41, by the way. Okay.
know that.
I know
Okay.
you're in your, well, I don't want to disclose your age, but you'll probably tell it in the camera, but I know your age, well, what you told me yesterday, right? Which you're familiar with the movie Kid and Play. That's before your time.
I love it.
But I see the branding here with the high top. So, explain that to me. I like it. What's going on? Is that the gimmick that you wanted to portray?
Well, I think this hair should come back. I see a lot of other haircuts, the fade, the tape, and all that. It's great. Bring back the high top. It has so much to offer. It's classic. It's the 80s, 90s. I love Kid and Play. I love that style, that lifestyle, that world. Let's bring it back. It's vintage and it has spice and flavor. And this is something you don't see anymore.
That is true.
That's why I will never cut it off, no matter how many bad honeys tell me or people. I'm gonna keep
Okay,
it
I know you're getting compliments over that thing now. Okay.
here and there.
Okay, so and the reason why I asked that because, I'm not sure if you're familiar with my platform, the whole platform Blueprint. I teach my community and individuals the importance of building their blueprint,
Okay, yeah.
which is a blueprint and the aspect of building a brand, whether it's personal or business. So I see that this is part of your brand as well too. The suit, the high top, like you mentioned, is very vintage, is different and everything like that. So is that something that you also decided you wanted to implement in your careers too?
Absolutely. This old vintage look is something you don't see anymore. Not many people wear suits in Florida. Like, why are you wearing a suit? It's so hot.
It's hot, it's humid, yeah.
People make fun of me. But this, it's a whole nother vibe. It's a trademark for me,
Oh, okay. So hold on. Let's take a step back for a second, Mr. Camera Guy. Let's
Yes.
step back for a second here. Hold on. So I've seen some of your IG posts and some of your videos and everything, and you don't break well, I guess you break the traditional news because the traditional news is usually negative and crime filled and everything like that, right? So in a way, I would say you're like a urban camera guy, street reporting guy. Why that lane? Why not be the weatherman? Why not be, the hot take or something like that? Why particularly, I guess the groundbreaking urban, clickbait news, for to say. Why that lane?
Because some people might call it unethical. They might call it does not go by the standards of, your traditional, news. You got to understand, if you kind of want to stand out, you want to do things that kind of bend the rules a little bit,
Of course, that's what life is about.
Exactly. See,
Right.
so I like to call myself, well, I like to do all local stuff. I get out in these
Just local stuff?
yeah, national stuff here and there, but I like my local community. You build much more bigger
Of a
relationship.
following as well,
Yeah,
too.
it's,
Right. Okay.
it's smooth, and then you can start breaking out.
Okay. So, well, first of all, explain the story as you becoming a freelance broadcaster, because most people don't know of the history. So go ahead and break that down a little bit. Give it a little context.
Here's the story. It all started in high school. Finally, I got some money, got an older camera, started doing little news videos in 2016 and 17, graduated. Then everything kind of started to fall apart.
Right.
We had to move to, we didn't really have that much money going on. So
Right.
now I had to work as a mechanic for 3 to 4 years.
Just to kind of survive and everything like that.
Survive,
right. Okay.
Get dirty, I was a tire tech, and then a light tech mechanic. Then finally I got the money. Then in 2020, 2021, I got the
Pandemic.
That was rough, man, because there was no events to film
Ah,
other than protests and stuff like that.
exactly. Okay.
But thank the good Lord, I was able to get my professional video equipment, my JVC, my Panasonic, and film parties and events and breaking news stuff. Once I was getting better and better.
Ah.
And then finally, that went on for a while. And in 2022, I was finally given an opportunity to work for a local news station called Local 10 News.
Local 10 News, right.
That was my biggest dream, to be a news reporter.
Really?
Work
So you
for-
fulfilled your dream at that point?
No, they just hired me as a cameraman, just a photographer. That's it, you know.
Like, okay.
I was fine with that. But,
Okay.
but they're never going to take me seriously. I don't have a college degree. My English, my grammar is all over the place, you know. It's just, you need a lot of experience to work in Miami. But now times are different. All you need is the love of the community, because, I mean, think about it. Who else is watching? Just the community. So if they love you, why should you need all this past experience? Just as long as you get approval from the community, you're good. That's it.
Good enough.
I would say that is the validation I only need. The people's support. That's it.
That's true. Okay. So what happened with Channel 10 News?
I got fired.
Oh shit.
I got fired.
Like damn.
Yeah, you know, it's terrible. I only worked there for 6 months. You know, I was just
Invaluable experience. I imagine though, right?
I got my semi experience, but you know what? I was the old what led up to it is just I was a little rebel. You know, I was just doing my own thing. You know, I was filming all these videos on my own time, and they called me competition, and I was getting too much love and engagement with the community. And
Competition. Wait a minute. That's what America is. Capitalism. Competition.
tell
What
me
the
about
hell?
it.
Like,
But when you start getting too much on top on our same level, and you start, they ultimately said, "Listen, you're stealing eyeballs. You're stealing viewership."
they were afraid of you.
That's what everybody tells me. I hope not. Yeah, you never know. Listen, they told me this.
Right.
They said, "Look, we're going to be honest. We want you to pump the brakes on your social media." I'm like, okay, fine. I was like, all right, I'm going to slow down a little bit. But the problem eventually is that I told them, what? But you're TV. I'm social media. What's the problem?
Right.
They're like, well, here's the thing. We don't care if you get 100 likes, 1,000 likes, 100 views, 10,000 views. You take those eyeballs away. People go to you instead of us. We don't get money from the advertisers. We go broke. We can't pay. We're done. I'm like, come on, man. It can't
They kind of like broke it down in that context right there.
They did, and that led up to it. Then, you know, that kind of was the fallout. They wrote me up for that, and then I was like, damn. And then it was, you got to understand, you know,
So it became very bureaucratic, political
toxic,
at that point, I'm assuming, right?
It's terrible. A lot of young people that work in those news industries, they end up leaving. Had a friend,
Seriously?
Had a good friend of mine, a friend I met there. He actually watched my videos, and he's young, like my age. He was an editor. He left.
And that's just because the environment becomes so unbearable.
It does. You got to understand, there's old heads, and they don't understand how the new world work. And I was trying to tell them, hey, let's do it this way. Let's do something urban. Like, no, you know.
So you know what? That's a segue to a good point, because you know you have the staple major networks, your CNNs, your MSNBCs, so on and so forth, Fox, right?
Yeah.
And like I just mentioned, right, with the George Floyd incident, I felt like that was a very epic incident where, again, it spawned the proliferation of independent media, especially with, you know, hyperdriving YouTube and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So tell me your thoughts and opinions on where the direction of independent media is going. Do you believe that it's actually the one that's going to break the traditional, conventional institutions of, you know, mainstream media?
Real quick, it already has. Ever since Facebook came out and YouTube,
Okay.
the traditional news, they can't stand social media. To them, it's like the Armageddon.
Right, for them, right?
Yeah,
it's stealing eyeballs.
It really is. Think about it. Back in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, what did you have? The only way to get your information was TV, maybe radio.
Radio a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe.
or the internet, but the internet was still developing. It was
in its infancy.
Exactly.
Right.
Point is that social media is taking over. You gotta understand, podcasters. People love podcasts,
good point.
just like this, because they feel it's realistic.
Right, more intimate.
There's no
Right,
edits.
right.
There's no cuts, man. There's no angles. We're here on this table. You know, whatever I say, this is me. So when you start doing podcasts and you start doing news, especially all these TikTokers, people see that and they say, wow, I like you. First of all, they relate to you. You know, you feel like this is a person you can see. But you got to understand, they connect with their community. You know?
Yeah, that is true. That's a big
You
point
can't
right there.
you can't just be a news reporter.
You got to be a brand, like you're doing
Exactly.
Okay,
But you got to engage with your community. You got to like come to the people. You got to do some everyday normal things that people do, you know, like the struggles and look like people and talk about people like you know, like what they go through. Then people will connect with you and love you. But if you're the traditional news, they're kind of so corporate. And see, people don't like that.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you a question. A
Yeah.
lot of people also see. Here's my pushback and challenge on it.
Sure.
What do you think about disinformation and misinformation? Because that's also been going on a lot too.
Sure, that's called yellow journalism. It's been happening since the 1800s.
Hey,
Yeah, yellow journalism or sensationalism. But you understand, look, there's always. What I realize is if someone gets hurt by what you say, and if it's true, some people might say, hey, that's disinformation because, you know, but they may not like the way it's reported, so they just claim it's fake. You know, it's just like a little defensive. At the end of the day, look, you can pick what you want to watch. You know, if you don't like
there's options.
There's options, or make your own stuff, you know. Make your own, you know. That's it.
Like you, right?
Like me, man. And I'm trying to get more people to join me, man, so because I don't want... You know, I want this to be a whole community thing, you know?
So, I mean, let me ask you a question. What is the objective for the platform? Is it to, you know, really share the news of the community, or is there, you know, a bigger objective as far as collaborating more journalists, building out the platform more? What is the objective with your...
My objective is to find people with my same mentality. Get a camera, a heavy tripod, drive to scenes, report it, connect with people, interview them, and have a collection of reporters just like me. And finally build my little office, my little tiny little studio. And call it, you know, Action 55, have like a little satellite, something adorable right here in Broward County.
Okay.
And we can start doing news, but with a traditional old school vibe.
The old school way, right?
Old school vibe, because I like that. But it works. And then I want to make shows like, you know, like the Boondocks, you know, those funny shows, commercials.
Okay.
I want to do all that.
Okay, so
I want to bring that back, man.
sort of like a content creator, you know, the old school, new school content creation type of vibe, right?
Yeah, man. I feel like that's the direction, you know. There's a new generation. They haven't seen the old past, so they don't know how it is. So, you know, I
mean, you have now a new school of generation where pranks are on the rise, right? And
That's
everybody
too much.
gets a little cell phone. I mean, what do you think about that? That's
all right. Well, the greatest pranksters all exist from 2008, 9, 10, 14.
Oh, you talk about the government. No, never mind.
Hell yeah.
Go
No.
ahead.
There was an era for that, but nowadays too many people are doing it, and when too many people are doing it, it's
Gets saturated and dull.
exactly.
Yeah,
So
it gets dull.
you got to be different. You got to be different, or you're gonna fall behind and die off. You know.
So how do you determine what news you want to cover or not? Like, is there a certain level or threshold it has to touch and say, oh wow, I need to go cover that right there?
Yeah. It's what I can handle. I like to do crime because it's easy for me. I can drive to the scene, get my camera. Okay, I know what's going on. It's a shooting. It's a deadly crash, you know, and I can talk to people. And then I can do updates. Now, if I can do stuff like investigative journalism, I go to places, investigative places, I can do stuff like that, you know. I'm getting better. And the more that I get out there, connect with people invite me, hey, do a story on my event. That's what I'm really good at too, you know.
Really?
Covering people's events, you know.
Wait, what kind of events? Just like the one we attempted to, the automotive event or whatever the case may be, right?
Oh yeah, like charities, you know, food giveaways, you know, business openings, you know, to the public, you know, people's parties, people's showcasing people's events, you know.
Okay.
Something that the community loves to engage with, you know. That's what I specialize.
Ah, interesting.
Like,
Let me ask you a question. When you go to these crime scenes,
Yeah.
what's the normal reaction you get? Because I've seen some of your content. It's like Channel 7, the local news, Channel 7, Channel 10, and you're just right there next to it. You know?
Man, I know.
You know, tell me what's up.
Man, it can be embarrassing, man, because remember, they have their cameraman, they have their equipment, they
The
have
big
the
expensive
truck,
equipment and everything, right?
everything, you know. And here I am with my camera, you know, my beat up tripod, my raggedy suit, you know, my shoes splitting apart, you know, my hair all messed
Oh
up.
yeah, you just what did the cat drug in, right?
Exactly.
You're that
It's like,
type of thing.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, look at this sleeves. Oh, look at this guy. But you know what? A lot of the people that work in a lot of these news stations, I become friends with. A lot of their cameramen,
You befriend them.
No, they like me.
Okay, yeah.
A lot. You'll be surprised. A lot of the people behind the scenes, because the managers hate me. They don't like me. But
Yeah,
the people that worked like with me, bottom barrel,
right, which they're your age, mid-20s and things like that, so they kind of resonate with you a little bit.
well, that too. But a lot of the cameraman that we all worked because we all get treated like crap. They understood my pain and they all like me, respect. So when they see me, they wave to me, they shake my hand. Sometimes they help me.
Really?
Yeah, because they had that much respect. Like, dude, we love you. We appreciate you. It's terrible what they did to you. And the reporters, too, There's going to be a lot of reporters that respect. And they, one or two, bad apples, But
Well, let me ask you, give us a little bird's eye view inside of the world of being a cameraman, the actual talent behind the camera, because not a lot of people appreciate that,
No.
Like, is it in most studios and broadcasting stations, is it like is it the janitor effect where the cameraman and the reporters per se get treated like the janitor where you say, hey, take care of this, da 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 da? Is it that type of culture and environment there?
Yep. It's a cutthroat industry.
Really?
Absolutely. It's.
But without you guys, there's nobody there to man the equipment and bring the vision to life.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you gotta treat them with love and respect. You understand? It's all about money, and that's it. So they can care less about it. They'll you're expendable. They'll throw you out if they don't like you.
Another cameraman just right behind.
Exactly how it is, man. And they're all going to tell you that. And that's why a lot of them are sad, depressed, broken. I feel terrible. That's why I want to build a news station where we don't BS you. They control their social media. They control their life. They own your name. You can't do what you want. They own you.
Seriously?
You got to bend over backwards. That's why I
follow by their guidelines, their rules, and everything.
It's terrible, and you can't do that nowadays. People want to be free. People want to do their social media. People want to get out there. People want to own their businesses. And the reporters can't do that because they're under a contract, talent contract. They can't have a voice. They can talk. You got to understand, everything is approved by a director.
At the end of the day, whatever you cover has to get a final check off.
There's a meeting that tells you what you can and can't cover. Now, there's reporters hey, send me a tip if you want me to cover a story, but most of it can get rejected if it's not newsworthy for the station. Now, me on the other hand, I'll do my best to facilitate people's stories,
Right.
Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But back to what I'm saying, listen, a lot of times cameramen, they get treated like crap, get thrown in the rain. You gotta go live. You might risk getting struck by lightning. Some of the stations are like, okay, well, let's not risk your safety. But at the end of it, it can be a dangerous thing. You go live for hours, no sleep, no breaks.
And you're right in the ground zero of a lot of these incidents and things like that. So dangerous situations.
Just recently, reporter and cameraman were both shot. One died in Orlando just about last month.
Holy shit!
Yeah, and that was with other news stations around. But you got to be. It's like, look, it's an industry where you need to know that you most likely you'll get hurt.
Wow, so
you're gonna get treated like that.
So let me ask you, so far in your journalism experience, what's one of the worst things that you have encountered so far?
The worst things is something called a EP, and the executive producers. They are just savages. Terrible.
Unpack that a little bit for us.
So basically, it's the way it works, And what I'm just being realistic, man. Mm-hmm. For the young people that are going to get into the news industry, executive producers will tear you up. They're going to snitch. They're going to rat out you. They're going to pretend to be your friends. Not all of them. One or two going to be good people.
I'm assuming these are your direct supervisors, like the EP, right?
They're not my manager, but they act like it. But they do have some power because they send you here. Here's the most effed up thing.
What's up?
You're in Miami. Mm-hmm. Covering a story. Then all of a sudden, something happens in Pompano Beach. They're going to pull you from that story, rush you all the way. Then they're going to tell you, wait, actually, go back real quick and do that other thing in I don't know,
XYZ, right.
Right, and then you're playing jumping jacks. You're speeding in that car. You can't speed because they monitor that. But you have to get there quick because they want you to get there quick as possible speed. They don't care about you. They want you
that exclusive you to get there as fast as possible.
They want you to go live because they make money off going live, So the point is, you're like a rag doll, and they throw you all over the damn place, man. And I don't like that. And I will tell them, listen, this is unrealistic. I can't drive from point A to point B this fast. Let's just stay here. And finally, maybe the managers will come in and say, okay, you need to stop. They can do this. They can't do that. So you're going to have your back, but most of it can be very toxic toxic relationships back and forth. Like, make up your mind. And that's one thing, man. It's like a middle school. You go into one of those. It's gonna be like high school, man. Constant brats bickering. I want this. I want that. Go
And these
here.
are grown adults here,
Grown,
supervisors.
old people like just thinking that they know the best, but that's why people don't want to really work in this industry, man. You know.
I mean, but ultimately you found a love and a passion for it, right? And you didn't allow the bureaucracy to, to tarnish your passion for it. So, you've mentioned something really quick, which I want to touch on, which I'll probably revisit later on in the conversation. But you mentioned how you wanted to create your own network,
Yeah.
Share that with a little bit. Is that, is it more of, a collection of freelancers having the not being confined to the red tape of these big news networks, or do you want it to more something different in the aspect of your own thing, but in the aspect of having something alongside of the vision of the institutions?
Yeah, listen, I want something unconventional. I want something. We have a news station. We look like a professional news station, but inside we're reckless.
Yeah,
we curse.
Free for all, basically, right?
You can have reporters where they can have their business. They can smoke and drink and
wow, that'd be different.
People do it all the time. Listen, here's the thing.
Okay.
I want my station to be realistic. Okay. If you have your side business, side hustles, do whatever you want.
Whatever the hell you do.
Make your money. Go do another ad or commercial, But we don't care. We just want you to come here, do a story, give us the video, go do whatever you want. We don't bother you. We don't stalk your social media. We leave you alone. You do what you want. You can have your OnlyFans. You can have your you can get in trouble. You can get arrested.
Yeah, do what the hell you want. So
That's
so
right.
when are you telling me it's not like that now with the current agreement with these local stations and big stations?
No, you can't do anything. You got to be very careful what you do. You can't do other videos. You got to be very careful. Some reporters do it, and I'm proud of them. Reporters should have the freedom to do what they please and not get restricted by a news station.
Because you're a reporter at heart.
But you gotta understand, there's people that are gonna complain. Obviously, why is she doing that? Why does she have that tight dress and all that? Why is his hair like that? Why is my anchorman doing that? But people should have an opinion. You should be free. You don't live forever. Look, I'm not the type of boss or whatever, if I become one,
right,
to bombard your life, calling you, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Just be yourself. That's it.
Do your thing.
Do the job, and once you clock out, that's it. I don't bother you. I don't call you. I don't bother you. Hey, come in to work.
So how many? You know what? There's not a lot of people like you because, and the reason why I say that, normally when people get fired from a job, they go look for another job, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay,
you gotta make that money,
right? You gotta make the money, right? But your situation is a little different. You got fired from your job, and you say, I started working for another job. Not only am I going to do my own thing, I'm going to do my own thing exactly as the way they were doing it, but with my own twist to it.
Exactly. I want to look like Mad TV, something weird, something just unconventional, something like you're like, wait a minute, what is that,
Well, is there anybody that inspires you? Any current journalist, any like Tucker Carlson or Bill Maher or something like? Is there anybody that inspires you nowadays?
Not really. The only one that really inspired me is like, well, not really, because there are some older journalists that I can look up to, but not inspired me. Because what really inspired me is something like Eric Andre. That's all. Because I like how he's hilarious, man. Come on, man. Have the professional set the suit. It's a twist. It's fun, I just feel like you got to have humor. You got to be exotic.
A different vibe.
Yeah, because if you're all professional, like serious, like I have a serious professional face, and I wish I was funnier on camera. Maybe I'll get a bigger audience by now.
But you have a brand though,
hopefully.
When I seen your video, it immediately just. Oh, okay.
It's weird.
It's different.
It's corny. It's strange.
But it's appealing. It's captivating. Right? It's riveting. It kind of like, come here.
You should see how many people make fun of me. Bad comments. Is this MF serious? I can't take him serious. Is this a skit? Anytime I do it, it's just a skit.
Wow,
It's embarrassing. What is this idiot doing? He talks weird. He's funny. Oh, he has a speech impediment.
So you get, but you know what? That even McDonald's is not, batting 1,000 on the Big Macs they sell, right? So you're gonna have some dissatisfied customers.
Yeah, man, but it's fun,
Right, but sometimes it's a little overwhelming. Oh, trust me, I get the comments too on social media, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, cool, all right, no problem. Let me keep it pushing on y'all.
Right,
you feel me?
yeah.
So, all right, so let me. I'm a lot of our audience that's aspire to be journalists and everything like that, right? And it's funny because I'm in the media, you're into media and everything like that. So I want you to tell them or share with everybody, because I don't think they realize one of the big things about media is that you want to make sure that you're not biased when it comes to the news, especially in the climate we're in, right? People, because it's easy for people to take a narrative and spin it. Oh, he's liberal, or he's conservative, or he's anti-LGBT. It's very easy to spin narratives nowadays.
Absolutely.
So how do you walk that fine line?
So I used to do political videos back then when they used to have like Trump rallies, Black Lives Matter rallies. I'm a very neutral person. I love and respect everybody.
Right.
I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. I will hug you, shake your hand, and I'll invite you to have a cup of coffee. If I ever do get my network going, I want to have a segment where we invite both parties and they talk it out. Shake hands.
Have a debate and just talk
Seriously.
it out, right? Okay.
Listen, I tell everybody this. There is no point in fighting over politics, because the president will never know who you are. They're not going to give a kidney for you. Look, you can love and respect your presidents, your politicians, but it's a free-for-all. They're not going to fight for you. Look. At the end of the day, if you keep getting so overwhelmed by politics, you're going to get unhealthy, stress out for no reason.
It's an emotional, yeah.
That's what it's made to divide people. That's all what it is. Doesn't matter what side you're on. There's flaws. There's great things on both sides. There's also flaws on both sides. But at the end of the day, please stay neutral. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't turn into an extremist, because you're going to kill somebody. You're going to get yourself hurt. And that's what I saw. I used to cover these things. Both things.
That's what I was going to say. You know better than anybody else from what you cover. You're like, wow,
yeah.
a lot of what situations you cover is emotional, whether it's political or relationship wise, right?
It's coming. The 2024 election's coming. Florida's gonna get crazy with protests, all that.
Oh my goodness!
I don't want to do politics. I don't like doing politics because you get two sides that are like, they're gonna fight in the comments, and I don't want to bring that. I want people to love each other, but unfortunately, I gotta do what I gotta do to keep people updated. So I might do political, but I have a neutral personality.
Okay.
I have my views of what I think.
Right. Okay.
But I don't want to make enemies. Especially this early. But I respect everybody. Everybody should have an opinion. Doesn't matter what it is. Just.
Which I think that's almost like a prerequisite for if you want to be a superstar, or not even be a respected journalist, is that you should be neutral. You should be right and not pick sides and things like that, right?
Now I understand if it's for a network, you want a select audience, so you might be a little biased here and there. It's going to happen,
Right, where like the Foxes are conservative, MSN liberal, right?
I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to. I just want to bring my community together, and because the world's ending. We're arguing over politicians. The world's coming to an end.
You've seen the past 2-3 years. I agree with you.
The war's coming, disease. Come on, man. It's like, why live your life? We're gonna live until our life expectancy is gonna be reduced to 70, 80 years old. How we eat, how we move. Just be happy, man. The hell are you fighting politics over?
Well, do you ever see yourself transitioning out of doing crime news? Because crime news, it is depressing. Do you ever see yourself like maybe current events, sports?
I would love to, man, but I don't know sports too well. I mean, I'll do it,
right?
Because that's why I'm doing community events, and because I can't keep doing crime. People tell me, don't you do anything else? I can't watch your channel. It's always sad. It's always my people getting shot and killed and all that. I'm like, okay, I'm so sorry. I'm going to try to accommodate you, but it's the only thing happening. South Florida, too many people running around crazy,
Well, you know what? You are defined as a public servant.
Well,
right?
oh, yeah. I like to think so.
A public servant. But public servants get a lot of get a lot of crap thrown them nowadays, especially police
man.
officers, right?
Absolutely.
And other professionals and things like that. So, do you, are you somewhat afraid or hesitant or cautious about being labeled as a public servant?
Yeah, man, I got my equal share of death threats. When I do stories on people's crime and I put their mugshots, people tell me, delete this. That's my brother. That's my son. And you didn't do it. Free my boy. Free my man.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, guys, I got to. So that's what when I do that, I get death threats. I already got one. So it's like, man,
that's crazy. How do you behave on something like that? You just do your job?
I used to be kind of afraid, but then I realized, wait a minute, I might die tomorrow, next year, yesterday. I'm like, I already lost hope. Ever since I was fired, ever since I kind of lost hope, and I'm not really gonna make it far. And I'm just, I'm just gonna live my life. If it comes today, it was a pleasure knowing everybody.
So it's safe to say you're not a corporate guy.
I don't want to be. I hate corporations.
It's like F that.
Please do. I don't like how corporates have all these rules, and it's just weird. They just don't connect with their people. I'm not a corporate guy. I look like a corporate guy.
Yeah, you do. You have
I talk like it.
Absolutely. Yeah, you have all the boxes checked except the actual inner spirit of a corporate guy. Pretty much, right?
If I led my business, it wouldn't have that corporate type of environment. It would look like it, gray and black, but it wouldn't be inside. And inside it would be a whole dystopia, wild mess and chaos, and in a fun way.
In a fun way. All right. Well, quick question about the breaking news reporter. On the personal side, we haven't any kids.
Not yet, man. I'm still kind of young. I want to have kids. Want to have a house and a car, and I'm trying to find the right a woman because I don't.
Yeah, that's the producer. Obviously you guys share the same skin color. The light skin gang here have
I want my kids to look good, and I want my kids to be. Well, I don't know. The world is kind of. I want to bring my kids when I know it's safe, when I know it's the right time.
It's a messed up time right now. Yeah, I mean, what do you think about like? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a quick question because I want to talk to. If there's anybody that knows about current events, you do. You're right. What do you think about the state of Florida? With Governor DeSantis, a lot of how he's been running the state. You know what? Florida's
a red state. You're gonna get down here is blue. It's more democratic.
Right.
You're gonna have more people that hate him down here, but once you go Palm Beach and north, a lot of people love him.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like. Look, the way I break it down like this, you're going to have 50% people that love him, hate him, and that's because of the several things that he might do that some people might think is unconventional, like the new thing he passed, the open
carry law and everything like that, right?
Well, not open carry.
Concealed, the concealed gun law.
You don't have to have a concealed license.
Right.
Careless permit, something like that. Careless, yeah. And people hate that. Some people love that, but you have to understand, at the end of the day, most of the shootings I cover are people that they either stole a gun or they took the gun from a friend or a family member and they shoot somebody and they walk around without a permit. I mean, most people that end up going to like a felon, you can't get a permit.
You can't get it right.
Yeah, you can't get a weapon. So you're going to take a weapon from somewhere and still kill people. So, I mean, regardless, you're still going to see the same shootings.
So I guess with this, you're giving the innocent people or the law-abiding citizens a fighting chance by equaling the playing field in a way, right?
Basically, yeah, man. You don't have to go to a course. I had to get I got my license. I paid $60 around there, and I had to take a 1-hour course, shoot a gun, and then you get certified. Now you don't. Now
bypass all of that.
Get your gun, and as long as people know how to use a gun, you gotta understand.
That's the problem.
People don't know. Most people that buy a gun, they don't have the training. They don't use a gun.
Maybe even never fired one.
That's what I'm saying. And the maintenance of a gun. Look, someone busts into your house. Mm-hmm. You might have that gun locked in the box, lock, not even loaded. You're gonna take that gun out. That guy may have a gun in your face, and you're gonna get killed and shot. At the end of the day, there's a lot that goes on. So it's like, people, you might get a gun, but do you know how to use it?
That's the key.
And you might road rage. South Florida got a lot of knuckleheads that might pull a gun from
So here's another thing.
So that's the controversy with it,
So let me ask you. Here's another bill. What do you think about his stance on, because Florida has become a very anti-liberal state as far as with what's going on with Disney. Which, I'm not sure if you're aware that he passed legislation where now the state legislature have power into the, I guess, jurisdiction of Disney. Prior till then, Disney, as well as the area within Disney, ran self-governed. It was all self-governed, the land, the complex, everything like that. But now what he has done, he's went ahead and passed legislation where he can appoint board members to oversee some of the functions of Disney. And some people are saying this is in retaliation of the Don't Say Gay legislation and things like that, how Disney was championing, I guess, LGBTQ2, I can never say it, but you know what I mean, their rights and everything like that. And of course, again, DeSantis, he has a heavy push on, keeping it out of the schools and everything like that. But what are your thoughts on his pushback against, the legislation of Don't Say Gay and everything like that?
Well, the way I say it like this, most of what Republicans like to fall on is
Right.
anti-government. So,
It's true, right?
yeah,
Right.
so
Smaller government, right?
yeah, so it's like, look, the way I look at it is like this: everybody hates an HOA.
Wow, good point.
Everybody hates control. So if Disney buys the land and they have it and they're not hurting people, they're not causing harm or destruction, then they can operate, do as they please. It's bringing money. It's a lot of tourists. It makes Florida gloom and grow. And don't stop it there. Now the big fear with the Don't Say Gay bill is that.
Which, are you aware of that?
I'm aware.
Okay, cool.
Look, it's going to create such a ginormous controversy
Right.
with the two parties. At the end of the day, if they preach freedom of speech,
They should be able to espouse that as well, too.
yeah, it's like, look, at the end of the day, the whole worry here is that they believe that kids that are in elementary schools are too young to learn about
There's sexual education and
so
things like that.
look, at the end of the day, the way I see it is that we used to have sex ed.
Yeah, growing up. It
Right.
used to be part, like Pledge of Allegiance and everything like that. All of that used to be part of school.
We used to have this class where we learned about sexual orientation.
Right.
We used to about how it works and all that. And the way I look at it is that you shouldn't hide information. You just teach people about these things, and you can't control people's lives. I'm all about just let people live the way they are. Don't put yourself in controlling how somebody thinks and operates.
You said something very profound,
Yeah.
which is, back in the day, well, even up until now, a lot of people would say what controls a country is the finances, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where like for instance, the United States is number one because the dollar. We're so powerful, right? But
Not for long.
okay. But as we're moving forward in this new digital age we're in right now, the technology and the internet, data, information is the new power, right? Whatever country is able to gain superiority in data would say will ultimately end up running the world, right?
Oh yeah.
As you can see with, AI, automation, and all of the proliferation of things, right? You said something profound where information shouldn't be controlled.
Yeah,
so
shouldn't.
If it shouldn't, no. So what do you say where information shouldn't be controlled? However, you have superpowers like China and the United States that are not only setting out to control the information, but also setting the narrative and possibly even letting out disinformation to control populations and things like that. So, and the reason why I say this is because I believe the United States is the greatest country to ever, to ever be in mankind's existence. And the reason why I say that is because it's a great document of the Constitution that gives us the freedom of speech.
If governments can follow that,
So, what's your thought about that, then?
Listen, at one point I believe so, yeah, but you have to understand every great civilization will fall. That's because, again, politics. That's, divide, the racial things, so we're a country that's expanding so many people coming. We have a lot of minds. If you all start thinking, you know, differently, we start fighting with each other, that's how it's going to start to fall apart. You have other countries, BRICS. You know, you got Brazil, Russia, China, North Korea,
Saudi
Africa,
Arabia,
right, South Africa,
right.
Africa. Now, listen to this. You know, this country, great, fantastic, but there's a big downfall. The dollar took it off the gold standard. Now it's back to old. Now it's going to be taken off. Other countries are saying to themselves, listen, we don't want to be backed by a dollar. We want our own currency and our own thing. And that eventually is going to lead to other countries becoming bigger and mass and powerful. They should be. You know, that's
right.
Everybody should prosper. But listen, the ultimate thing is that this country for a long time, its politics, its direction, it's derailing.
That's the Achilles heel of our pretty much.
That's what I'm saying. Look,
right.
I love and respect this country, but you have to understand the biggest flaws is going to lead this country to fall, and that's soon.
Wow.
And that's the truth. That's why I really don't have that much hope for the future, because we're so close to war. Look at Russia and China teaming up.
Look, I mean, there's this hyperbole of even World War III possibly.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, look, and a lot of younger kids don't want to join the military. They don't want to get blown up. They don't want to get cut. They don't want to. They want to go to college for free.
Right.
You know, so you look at the military nowadays. The American military, it's mostly technology, less soldiers. Now, that technology is super expensive. If they shoot down one of our jets that costs probably over $100 million, to make one takes years. Now in Taiwan, they make most of the gold.
Semiconductors and stuff
Exactly.
like that. Right.
So,
okay.
You have to understand that eventually traditional and conventional warfare, soldiers, you know, that's the route we're going to have to go, because a lot of this newer modern technology is great. We never use it. And if it gets shot down, destroyed, that's it. We're going to go back to the olden days of fighting. And that is eventually the fall of countries. You know, you have to understand, you're so big and bad. Eventually, everything comes.
It's just like Rome, right? Rome got a point where it's right, and it's almost the same thing where, you know, they almost grew too big in the aspect of, you know, that was their Achilles heel, led to their downfall, right? I could definitely appreciate your point of view, because, you know, one thing for sure is the leadership in this country for quite some time.
Good,
it's been.
It's not good.
You know, whether it's the Sleepy Joe or Orange Man in the office, there's still major flaws which I believe. Before I started to cut you short, I'm gonna let you finish your thought here.
Yeah,
I believe that there should be a new blood in politics, just like there's you're trying to spearhead new blood in journalism, right?
Man.
You know,
something different.
Something different.
It's not working, man. You know, and eventually, but that's how it's gonna be. You know, they have their formula. Politicians and how they run their countries. Right. It doesn't really work out.
Doesn't
for the
mean it works, right?
It doesn't work for us,
right?
You know, but it works for them. That's why countries are ran like that. But eventually, all that's going to collapse and fall. You know? It's like every history repeats itself. World War II, 1940, we're getting close. You know, like you said, the coronavirus, 1918, the Great Spanish Flu killed 100 million people. Everything history. That's why I believe history always repeats itself.
That is true, right?
Look, World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, Persian Gulf War. We're bound to get into a major serious conflict because the way we run our countries are pissed at us, you know?
The way we operate and bullying and things like that, right?
The way we put American bases in all the other countries, and how we're trying to put our American dollar here and there. Other countries we want to be a superpower, you know?
That is true. I mean, America really, really, I think, goes out of its way to portray, to give its influence into the world.
We are not the world police.
Although we try to be.
We're doing too much. You know,
we're doing the most.
We're doing the most. The United States needs to focus on their people and this country, and really that's it. And then, you know, some foreign here and there.
Every now and then.
Yeah, but that's you start eating too much. Yeah. You start poking your nose, and then what are you gonna get, man? We're surrounded by the whole world, man. You can't take it over all.
That is true. And if everybody turned their back against us, now we're really in.
And that's what's happening.
That's what's happening right
it's
now
like,
with the BRICS and everything.
Think about
the
it,
world.
man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? Hey, man. Listen, I could go. All right. As we ready to wrap up the show and everything like that, I want to get to a lot of the audience here, especially the young viewers, they definitely would appreciate, your spirit.
Okay.
Appreciate your journey.
Yeah.
Because, to wrap it up in a nutshell, you are a kid that grew up from the inner city here in Broward County, had a dream for journalism by seeing an unrelated event, right? Took that dream to fulfilled it in reaching the company you wanted to work for and doing the things you wanted to do, to not only do so, but to turn around and get disappointed because you didn't want to follow the quote unquote, rules and regulations they had, right?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I didn't want to follow.
Right. So, but you end up doing your own thing, and now you're living out your dream and following that dream to its fruition of building your own platform. So, a lot of the viewers can appreciate today's podcast and today's conversation. So if there's one thing you can share with the audience as far as, from your experience, to take to build their blueprint, whether it's in journalism or just in personal life, what's one piece of advice you would share with everybody?
Here's one piece of advice that really helps me. Okay. All right. And it's unconventional, but if you live this is what you do. Mm-hmm. Imagine that tomorrow's your last day. All right.
Okay.
You're going to die, and
shit.
If you live,
that's a morbid statement right there. But go ahead.
It's gonna help you because if you have in your mind, listen, I don't have much time left. Let me hurry up and get this business going, get this dream going, because you have to understand, while you're trying to accomplish your dreams, your friend down the street, your neighbor, might top that. You have competition. You got to hurry up before somebody else takes your dream.
Good point. Okay.
And you have to really, because everybody's trying to hop on your same level, But you have to understand, people don't want to put that much effort in because it's a lot of work,
That is true.
And if you always think this, I don't have much time left. Live your life like no tomorrow. That's my saying.
Is that how you? Is that?
That's how I live. Like I know, I live like, hey, I'm not gonna make it. My life is short, and that's what helps me out. If you have nothing to lose,
you almost have a lot to gain.
That's true. That's how I live. I'm running on fumes here.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to hurry up. Because I'm almost 30. I'm like almost 5 years from being 30.
There. Yeah, okay. The big 3-0. That's when it hits you. You're like, oh,
yeah,
man.
Hurry up, man. Because people will take the grip. So the piece of advice will be this. Listen, you have limited borrowed time. All right?
Right. I like that.
You retire at 60 or 65. Then what are you going to do?
After that.
No, come on. Right now's the time. Hurry. I cover so much death. all these young folks dying.
Let me ask you a question. How is your, I know we're supposed to wrap. How is your mindset after, mental health is a big thing nowadays. What is the mindset of first you and a typical reporter in your field, seeing all this deaths day in, day out? Hey, 10-year-old shot drive-by, mother killed because of domestic dispute with boyfriend, family died because of gang. Like, what is the mental state when you cover some of this stuff?
I'm desensitized. It doesn't really bother me. I feel the pain, but, you have to understand, I have to give people the news. I got to keep my community updated.
No matter how gruesome the news is.
No matter how. Listen, my life is done. It's over. I live, whatever. I care about you guys and people. The people are important. I have to push through all that. Because if I don't keep them updated, they're going to be like, what happened? Oh, no, we trust, we believe. Come on, man, you got to keep us updated. I have to push through my emotions, and I have to not focus on me. That's it.
So you just literally desensitize yourself as soon as you get in and boom, out.
You got to, a reporter needs to dedicate their lives to the community. That's it. So sacrifice having a family, sacrifice your mental health. People are important, But also, those same people might tune away. Once you die, everybody will forget about you. And that's also what helps me out, When I die, everybody's going to forget about me. I'm going to be that's a thing of the past. So what's the point of life? At that point, just do what you can.
Well, let me ask you, what's the worst story that you've covered to this point? Or what's the one story that stood out in your mind out of all the ones you've covered?
It's always going to be that this poor girl her throat was slashed because another girl thought that her man liked her.
What? Say that. Hold on. Whoa. What?
Real quick, happened in Tamarack, happened in literally my backyard. This girl that I didn't know I went to high school with her. She was actually one of my classes. One of my classmates told me, 5 years later, beautiful girl, hardworking, bought her own apartment. Another girl thought that her man, well, she's attractive,
Right.
but she slashed her throat. She came from New York, did the job, flew back to New York, got arrested somewhere.
What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Came, did the hit, then got back on a plane back home?
Yeah.
What kind of cold blood? Yo.
A month later, they caught her, brought her back over here, made an update. All because that cursed cycle girl thought that the pretty girl
was sleeping with her boyfriend or her man or whatever.
Not even that. Her man may have just texted her, but she pushed him away. She wasn't, but she crazy. She thought that,
Damn.
Listen, that was so sad because when I was there, I came back to the scene. At night, they took her body out in a stretcher, wrapped up with foil and bags. When they brought her body out in a stretcher back to the coroner's vehicle, the morgue, the hall, there was like over 70 family members and friends. Wait, stop. Let's look at her body. They're like, oh, we don't know, if we should show you. And then finally the sheriffs, they thought, okay, fine, let's just show you real quick. We want to see if it's her. We want to see, oh my God.
Is that protocol, by the way?
That's the family.
That's the family. Their family. Go ahead.
They're allowed to see it.
Yeah, go ahead.
They showed their body, and one of the things that you'll never forget from this is hearing a mother's blood-curdling scream. The mother, the sisters, the aunties, they scream so loud that you'll never forget it. That the way it made me feel, and I kind of filmed it, but they will never forget that scream. It's a mixture of no movie will ever. You just have to hear it, but it sounds like someone's getting sliced, cut, stabbed.
Just that once they zip it and they open, like that initial. Ugh.
Yeah, because her throat was slashed, And she was there for a while, so the body was, lightly decomposing. The family screaming and crying and stomping, and I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. It's the first time I ever really got the grasp of what people go through,
Damn.
And then I was like, man.
Yeah, it kind of hits below the skin at that point, right?
Yeah, that day I was like, whoa, I was like,
damn,
this is insane, This is what death is.
So wow.
And then months later, I always see when they bring the bodies out,
Damn.
I'm used to it,
I mean, so you're right there in the mix with the police officers, the paramedics, the firefighters, the other reporters.
Most of the time, yeah.
Damn. And one last question. So anybody could be a journalist.
Anybody.
You don't need no credentials to be at a crime scene to report something or nothing like that.
That is stupid because when the First Amendment says freedom of the press, you can film anything you want. The police, nowadays law enforcement, they a lot of them follow my channel, so they like me. They allow me just to get a little bit closer.
Okay.
And I respect the scene. I don't get too close, So they're like, so I get to see a lot of things. You don't need credentials. That's a stupid thing. Unless it's a private event,
Right.
like you're covering the show and sure, but anybody can be, journalist.
Really?
But what really makes a real journalist is having the actual equipment, dressing up, going in front of a camera, talking, editing the video, not just having a cell phone video like this.
Right,
That's a little ridiculous. Like, come on, man. Put some effort into that.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? It's like I hate when these accounts post a little self and they get millions of views, and here I am, my own hard work out here getting wet and soaked.
Damn.
And I get a little bit of love and attention,
And you're a one-man operation.
One-man band. I need the help, but people just don't have the same drive. It's too hard. You understand?
How hard is it? Like, explain.
You get up, you put a suit on, you got to put all this clothes, you got to drive, risk the traffic, gas, money, insurance. Then you got to bring the heavy camera, the tripod, walk, sometimes a whole around the scene, get the drone, film all these angles. Police sometimes, hey man, back up, go over here, go over there, because some police don't.
Yeah, don't want you so close.
They want you so close. And then you have to edit everything. You have to film all these angles. You have to research. You don't know what's going on. It's just breaking news.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And you have to do this quick, and then people are stopping by, hey, what's going on? My brother, what's happening? Hold on, just give me a little bit. I'm going to find out. I'll let you know, And it's not easy. The editing, and you have to edit in the way it's watchable. You can't just upload
Well, that's
video.
right. Just can't put anything that's
Got to
out
put
there.
some,
Compelling.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Man, but it's fun though. That's the thing.
It is fun.
You
I
wake
like
up every
it.
day having fun.
You know what? Even though I don't make any money from it, even though I make a little bit of pennies, I'd rather be dirt broke, thrift shopping and not eating, but I'm happy. And I'm alive and living. That's when people, how you doing? I'm alive. If I'm not filming and doing what I love, I'm dead inside.
So is that your job? What does the breaking news reporter do outside of filming?
Nothing, man. I don't really have much of a life. I don't
No
have
cat, no dog, no going out to the Bahamas every weekend. None of that.
It's sad. I don't even have an official. I never really had a girlfriend, or I don't really have that many friends because I'm
Working.
I'm always on the scene, Sometimes I can go out, but that's why I don't have all these social skills because I don't really talk to
You're working.
people. Yeah,
you're working.
sucks.
That's your thing.
I wish I had this swagger. I wish I can go up and talk to people and flirt and all that, and go out to clubs and party and get stupid and drunk and yeah.
Well, you know what? First step, I'm gonna give you the 3-step process of how we're gonna do that. Number 1, we're gonna braid that hair.
People tell me
we're gonna just braid it. You don't gotta cut it. We're just gonna braid it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, and then maybe instead of the thrift store, we could go to TJ Maxx a little bit.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, step up. You feel me?
Yeah.
Get the polo gear and the heel figure. Yeah, And then number 3, hang out with the Blueprint gang. You know what I'm saying? Hang out with it. You feel me?
Man.
We take you out, a few spots in South Florida that you probably know of, you covered previously, and then, we show the brand new news reporter here. Instead of the news reporter, we're gonna call him, the hip guy.
Hell yeah.
Okay. We gonna rebrand him. What you think? You like it? Okay. All right.
Oh yes.
Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for inviting me, man.
Can we bring you back?
I will come back. As long as there's no breaking news, I'll be here.
Let's do it. Okay, well, listen, before we go ahead and end today's show and everything like that, if you could go ahead and let the audience know where they could find you as well as anything you have working. Well, of course, the main thing you have working on is the breaking news, but let everybody know where they can find you so they can be able to go ahead and capture your good content, bro.
My good people, listen. All you got to do is type in the breaking news reporter, lowercase, YouTube, TikTok, social, Instagram, you'll find me. If you see me in the streets, come up to me, hug me, shake my hand, take a photo. I'm so open. I'll always give my time and attention to you guys.
Absolutely. As a public servant should do, right?
You have to be. You got to connect with people. Public servant.
Yeah, a relationship capital at its
it,
finest.
Man.
That's what I'm talking about. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm definitely excited to not only show this particular broadcast with everyone, but of course, I'm going to work this not only have him back on the show, but follow you and give you support as well, too. Listen, guys, if you're tuning in today's show, do me a big favor. In today's bio, we'll have all of his Instagram handles, Facebook, social media, as well as every link to be able to follow him. Do me a favor, follow him, catch his content. This is not someone that's doing this with a company on his back, right? This is all pure passion, pure love, all the support and donations, or as well as goodwill you can show to him, just further fuels him to go ahead and produce more great content like this and be a bigger community servant. But with that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's broadcast, go ahead and subscribe to the Respect My Blueprint podcast and all streaming platforms, Apple, iTunes, okay, as well as Spotify, Amazon, Google, and all that other good stuff. And, of course, you can follow me at Blueprint Mastermind in all social media platforms. And as always, as I'm here with the Light Skin Gang, you already know we're going to catch y'all on the flip side. Peace.
This conversation about building up your blueprint. It's time to take it, cause time is wasted. Go grind and chase it, don't lose it. This generation need integration with information to move with. An inclination that is abiding in entertaining improvement. Yep.